Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a question that feels ripped from a sci-fi movie, yet is edging closer to reality. Could artificial intelligence ever take the place of human judges in our courts? We've got some fascinating material to explore, excerpts from another podcast that really, dug into this very idea.
Yeah.
Our goal today is to extract the core of this debate for you. The compelling reasons for, the significant challenges against, and the tricky ethical paths we'd have to navigate. Right. So just picture for a moment. Yeah, you walk into a courtroom, the bailiff calls the next case, and instead of a person in robes, you see, an algorithm. What's the first thing that pops into your head? What questions would immediately be swirling around?
That image really does stop you in your tracks, doesn't it?
It really does.
I think immediately the big questions for you, the listener, would center on fairness. I mean, how can a machine truly be fair?
Exactly.
Also, understanding, can an AI grasp the complexities of human situations? And ultimately, what do we as a society really want our justice system to achieve?
Okay, let's dive into why some people are actually championing the idea of AI judges. What's the core appeal? What makes this more than just a thought experiment?
Well, the main arguments tend to cluster around efficiency, consistency, and the potential for minimizing human error.
Okay.
Think about court backlogs, for example. An AI could process vast quantities of case information incredibly quickly, potentially clearing those log jams in a way that human judges simply can't match.
Right.
Imagine not having to wait years for your case to be heard. That's a powerful draw.
Absolutely. The sheer speed is a compelling factor when you consider the current state of many legal systems. What about the idea of consistency? How does AI factor into that?
The argument here is that AI could apply the law with a uniform precision, eliminating the variations that inevitably arise from human subjectivity.
Yeah.
We're all human, right? Our moods, our backgrounds, even our level of tiredness can subtly influence our decisions. Yeah. There was even that study suggesting judges were more lenient in granting parole right after lunch.
I remember reading about that, yeah. Quite something.
Exactly. The idea is that an AI wouldn't be susceptible to these kinds of, human fluctuations, theoretically leading to a more predictable application of the law.
That lunch break study is certainly eye-opening. So the promise is a level playing field in terms of legal interpretation, free from those human inconsistencies. What's the third key argument in favor of AI judges?
The proponents also point to the possibility of reducing bias. The thinking is that an AI could be designed to disregard factors like race, gender, or personal beliefs, leading to more objective judgment.
That sounds like a significant advantage, at least in theory. But as you're hearing this, you might be thinking, well, what about the data the AI learns from?
Great.
If that historical data contains existing societal biases, isn't there a real danger that the AI will simply learn and perpetuate those very biases? It's the old garbage in, garbage out problem, isn't it?
That's a crucial point to consider, and it's a very valid concern. The algorithms are trained on data, and if that data reflects past biases, the AI could indeed learn and repeat those patterns.
So how do proponents counter that?
Well, those who advocate for AI argue that these systems can be rigorously tested and adjusted for fairness in ways that are more challenging with human judgment. We can, in theory, examine the AI's decision-making process, identify biases in the training data, and implement corrections. It's auditable in a way humans aren't always.
And are there any tangible examples of AI being used in judicial settings right now, even in limited capacities?
Yes, the source material highlighted a couple of interesting cases. Estonia has been experimenting with an AI judge for resolving small claims disputes.
All claims, okay.
Focusing on automating those more routine and less complex cases. China has also been using AI to help streamline sentencing decisions with a strong focus on increasing efficiency within their legal system.
Right, efficiency again.
These examples offer a glimpse into how AI might be integrated into certain aspects of the legal process, to handle specific types of matters more quickly.
So we've looked at the potential upside: speed, a degree of consistency, and the aspiration for reduced bias, along with some early real-world experiments. Now, let's consider the flip side. What are the major concerns and arguments against the idea of AI taking over the role of human judges? What are the potential pitfalls that should make us pause?
This is where we delve into the fundamental aspects of justice that go beyond mere data analysis and logical deduction. The limitations of AI become really clear when we think about things like empathy, the ability to understand context, and the capacity for mercy. As you're listening to this, consider, can an algorithm truly grasp the emotional weight of a defendant's situation, the nuances of their personal history, or the specific mitigating factors in their case?
It brings to mind a hypothetical scenario that was raised. Imagine a single parent stealing food to feed their children. A human judge might recognize the desperation, the underlying need, and potentially exercise some discretion or leniency. Could an AI, could it even be programmed to understand and respond to that kind of deeply human story?
That really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? It's difficult to envision an AI being able to weigh those incredibly complex human elements in the same way a thoughtful and experienced human judge can.
Right.
Justice isn't just about a strict application of rules. It often involves interpreting those rules within a very specific and often, messy human context.
And then there's the accountability question.
Oh, yes. Then we have the really thorny issue of accountability. If an AI makes an incorrect judgment that leads to someone being wrongly incarcerated, who is ultimately responsible?
That's terrifying.
Is it the programmers who designed the algorithm? Is it the court that implemented it? Where does the buck stop?
That's a profoundly unsettling question. The line of responsibility becomes incredibly blurred. And the source material also touched on the lack of transparency, the black box problem with some advanced AI systems. Can you explain why that's such a significant concern in a legal setting?
Absolutely. Many of the most sophisticated AI systems operate in a way that even their creators don't fully understand the intricate steps that lead to a particular decision.
Really? Even the creators?
Sometimes, yes. It's like a black box. You put in data and an output comes out, but the reasoning in between is opaque.
Wow.
In the context of law, this raises huge due process concerns for you, the defendant. How can you effectively challenge a judgment if you can't understand the logic that produced it?
You can't.
How can we ensure fairness if the reasoning behind the decision is hidden, even from scrutiny?
It's like being judged by an oracle that speaks in an incomprehensible language. You can't question its wisdom, you can't understand its reasoning, you're just left with the outcome.
Precise.
Beyond these core issues of justice and fairness, what other potential downsides were highlighted regarding the replacement of human judges with AI?
There are significant practical and societal implications to consider as well. The potential for widespread job losses among judges, lawyers, court staff, that's a real concern. And the security vulnerabilities of AI-powered judicial systems are immense. Imagine the catastrophic consequences if malicious actors were able to manipulate the algorithms to influence verdicts.
Oh, wow. I hadn't even thought of that. Hackers.
The potential for abuse is, frankly, terrifying.
It paints a rather dystopian picture. So, given these compelling arguments on both sides, the promise of efficiency and consistency versus the crucial need for empathy and accountability, is there any middle ground? Are there ethical pathways or hybrid models where AI can play a supportive role in the justice system without completely taking over?
The idea of AI assisting human judges rather than fully replacing them seems like a more ethically responsible and, frankly, practically viable way forward, at least in the foreseeable future. Think of AI as a powerful tool that can augment human capabilities in the courtroom.
Can you give us a concrete example of what that kind of AI assistance might look like in practice?
Certainly. As the source material pointed out, AI could be used to identify inconsistencies in sentencing patterns across different cases, providing human judges with data to help ensure greater fairness and proportionality. It could also rapidly analyze vast amounts of legal precedents, suggesting relevant cases and arguments for the judge's consideration.
The human makes the final call.
Exactly. In this model, the human judge retains the ultimate authority to make the final decision, bringing their judgment, empathy, and understanding of the specific context to bear.
The source also mentioned Canada's Compass system. How does that example illustrate this idea of AI as an assistant in the legal process?
Right, Compass. It's a system used in some jurisdictions to assess the likelihood of recidivism, the risk that a defendant will reoffend.
Okay, risk assessment.
It provides judges with a statistical risk assessment to inform their sentencing decisions. However, and this is crucial, judges still have the final say. Compass is intended as a tool to provide additional information to aid their human judgment, not to dictate the outcome.
It sounds like a helpful tool, but even these assistive AI systems haven't been without their share of controversy, have they? I recalled the mention of the 2016 ProPublica investigation. What did that reveal?
That's a really important point to raise. The ProPublica investigation uncovered significant issues regarding the COMPAS system, suggesting that its risk assessments exhibited racial disparities.
So bias again, even in assistive role.
Precisely. This raises a fundamental question for you, the listener. Can we ever fully trust these systems, even in a supportive role, to be truly objective and to enhance rather than potentially undermine fairness in our justice system?
It underscores the critical need for careful oversight and regulation, even in these hybrid approaches. The source mentions the European Union's efforts in drafting AI laws. What's the significance of that in this context?
Well, the European Union is working on comprehensive AI regulations that aim to establish principles for how AI systems should be developed and deployed, particularly in high-stakes areas like this. These regulations are looking at things like transparency and accountability, which would be particularly relevant if AI were to be used in judicial roles, even, in an assistive capacity.
So, setting some ground rules.
It suggests a growing recognition of the need for societal guardrails as AI becomes more integrated into various aspects of our lives, including potentially the justice system.
So, as we look ahead, what does the future of justice potentially hold with AI in the mix? Can we envision specific scenarios where AI judges might be considered ethically acceptable, even if full replacement seems unlikely for serious criminal matters?
The source material hinted that AI might find more ethically sound applications in certain limited, less critical areas.
Like what?
Such as handling routine traffic violations or resolving straightforward contract disputes. In these types of cases, the stakes are generally lower, and the need for deeply nuanced human judgment might be less critical, maybe more administrative.
Okay, so perhaps for the less complex, lower stakes stuff. But for those serious criminal cases, the ones that have a profound impact on an individual's life and liberty, the consensus seems to be that fully entrusting judgment to AI is still a long way off, and perhaps fundamentally undesirable.
That seems to be the prevailing sentiment, yes. The importance of keeping humans in the loop is paramount, especially when we're dealing with fundamental rights and freedoms.
Pray.
For the foreseeable future, AI's primary role should probably be to augment human judgment, to provide valuable insights and efficiencies, but not to replace the essential human elements. Empathy, ethical reasoning, and a deep understanding of context that underpin our concept of justice.
It really boils down to our core values, doesn't it? What do we believe justice truly is? It's more than just processing data and applying rules. It involves understanding human behavior, motivations, and the broader societal factors at play. And it feels like replicating those uniquely human qualities in an algorithm remains a monumental, if not impossible, challenge.
Precisely. Justice is deeply intertwined with our fundamental human values, and until AI can genuinely replicate human ethics and compassion, and that's a very big until, I think the core responsibility of judging should likely remain firmly in human hands.
It certainly gives you a lot to think about. So for you, the listener, having taken this deep dive with us into the potential for AI judges, beyond the arguments for speed and consistency, what fundamental aspects of justice do you believe might be irrevocably lost if we ever ceded the act of judgment entirely to machines? It's a crucial question to keep in mind long after our discussion today concludes. Thanks for exploring this fascinating topic with us on The Deep Dive.